Geek, Citadel.
Welcome to the overview. This time we play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes of Heaven on PlayStation 4. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes of Heaven takes place during multiple storylines of the series. Instead of retelling the story from point A to the end, it starts with Jotaro Kujo during his battle with Dio. A completely new story begins from this point on, with Jotaro and his crew leaving through various points in time to meet different JoJo protagonists and characters. Speedwagon confronts Jotaro and recruits him to jump through anomalies in search of pieces of the Holy Corpse. I likened it to traveling around with Goku and collecting all of the Dragon Balls. One big warning though, this game doesn't exactly cover the main story of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but if you are only watching the show, it does have a heap of spoilers from the manga. You'll learn the end of events from series that haven't even made it into the anime yet. So if you have a fear of spoilers, just stay away from Eyes of Heaven until you've caught up. With that said, the story revolves around a lot of dead friends coming back to life. The Noble One is controlling various characters and only the Holy Corpse can free them. This leads to a variety of characters from different parts of the series meeting up for the first time. It also makes for fan service style meetups that gel tremendously well with the design of the Bizarre Adventure universe. It's lovingly crafted and worth the experience for fans of the series despite the strange control scheme of combat. It utilizes in-game character models for cutscenes and slides of the manga for pivotal flashback sequences. The action on the screen is bright and vibrant and depicts the special abilities of our favorite characters perfectly. It's a delight to see Jotaro release his famous and even more so impressive to watch Joseph Joestar nail a perfect Coming into the gameplay, I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking it would have more of a Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm type of fluidity to it, since it was made by CyberConnect 2. However, it plays more like a game of Power Stone. It features wide open areas with destructible environments with weapons that players can throw at their adversaries. There are very few stages that alter the battle in deadly ways, but there are a few perilous areas where players can be knocked out of bounds or step on spikes. The combat is focused on 2-on-2 battles in familiar areas from the JoJo universe. This allows for two different characters to perform tandem combos and super special attacks that leave their opponents reeling. Combat is incredibly simplistic, but there are a few complexities that keep it appealing. The characters can dash, counterattack, and backstab any foe. When a player is knocked down, they are invulnerable for a brief moment of time. This stops players from being slaughtered on the ground, but it also slows down the combat. I don't essentially like this feature, but it is what it is. I started to understand that I shouldn't rush into battle like I do in the Naruto games and give myself some time to defend and plan my next attack. The invulnerability feature slows down the combat and usually gives the attacked a 1-second opportunity to retaliate before you can. Once you get used to this, you'll be waylaying enemies left and right. Let's talk about the AI partner for a second. They can be on point with their help or straight up oblivious to your need for support. This leads to two different opponents usually teaming up to try to take out your character, which is ultimately a thing you would never want to happen, but especially in Eyes of Heaven. When a CPU opponent is knocked out, the remaining fighter will gain a new life bar and persist in the fight. If the player is knocked out of combat, the entire fight must be restarted. You can't switch over and control the remaining living character. The lack of any local co-op for the story also seems like a total misstep for Eyes of Heaven. There are a few variations to the 2-on-2 theme. There's a minigame chase mechanic and a brawler-style fighting mode that occurs during certain missions. It breaks up the pacing of the fights, but they seem more like a diversion other than adding anything intriguing to the game. After a fight, players are awarded experience points and bonus items for the Earn JoJo team. Experience is used in the story mode to level up each person during the course of the yarn. You're presented with a talent tree that unlocks different abilities and bonuses like stamina increases or lower ability cooldowns. It seemed like a good idea, but it's handled poorly to say the least. Every character earns experience points over the course of the story. The menu makes the system clunky by forcing us to navigate between each character individually. It would have been simpler to tap a button and move on to the next character from the ability tree. Oh, and let's talk about the camera, because it can be a total piece of trash when locked onto enemies. It will find a way to whip around and embed itself in walls that will obscure the view of battle. It's not so dreadful in open locations, but it throws a hissy fit in tight spaces. You can move around the hub world to talk with various JoJo characters, which doesn't seem to really do anything. You can engage in a few activities while wandering around. You can find stamps, retry missions, or find special missions that allow you to play pivotal moments from the manga. Outside of the story, there's a free play mode for random battles against a computer or a friend, a network mode for those that like to get online in battle. Also, the game is chock full of content from extra costumes, items, and where would any bizarre adventure be without poses? And there is a lot of poses. There is so much to unlock in the game, but most of it's purely cosmetic outside of the items used for in-game buffs. I think I've said a lot about Eyes of Heaven so far. In my personal opinion, the fighting system leaves a bit to be desired. It's strange to me that CyberConnect 2 created such a restrictive system when the Ultimate Ninja Storm games offer more options. There are a few odd choices like grinding levels for new moves, some odd loading times, and lack of local co-op support. I wouldn't say I had a blast with it, but I did enjoy the story as a fan of the series. That wraps this episode of the overview. If you have any questions regarding the game, don't be afraid to leave a comment below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.